Welcome, race fans, to the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. Tuesday Night Thunder trucks at Indianapolis. I'm Jerry Isaacs, as always, here with my good friend Cody Richardson. How you doing tonight, Cody?
I'm doing pretty good, Jerry. How about you?
Good, good. Glad to be here, Indianapolis. Tell me about what we're going to see with these trucks tonight.
Yeah, back at the world famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Don't believe in real life the trucks have ever been here. They always race down the street a little bit at a Lucas Oil Raceway at IRP, Indianapolis Raceway Park. But we are on the big oval tonight. 2.5 mile racetrack, 9-degree flat corners. We're here tonight with 65 laps with these trucks. Fuel run's going to be about 15 to 17 laps of fuel. They have 5 sets of tires, 1 plus 4 more in the pits they talked about. 75 degrees air temp, partly cloudy, 115 degrees on the track. Little hot. You can hear cars on track in the background there doing their qualifying runs. Winds are going to be north, so blowing down the front straightaway at 2 miles an hour. So not a lot of wind going into turn 1, but maybe enough to make a little bit of a difference.
65 laps at Indianapolis, always exciting. Wait a minute. 65 lap? Wait a minute. Are we doing the oval or the road?
We are doing the oval.
Oh.
Not the road course,
Oh.
the oval.
So maybe it won't be as exciting as I thought. 65 laps trucks on the oval? That's kind of
I don't know, Jerry. This is going to be, well, it might be, but it's going to be who can save those tires. I know we talk about that every week, but these flat corners, it's a difficult racetrack to drive. Like, it looks like from the air, it's a rectangle, okay? 4 corners, how hard can it be? 4 90-degree corners. But every single one of them is different. Turns 1 and turns 3, you're coming into with a full head of steam. I'm 165, 175 miles an hour going into those corners, having to get it woed down to take a flat 90-degree left. Then the next corner, 2 and 4, are a short shoot in between. There's really no markers to look at to get turned in, to get brake. It's a difficult track to drive, and despite what it looks like from the air, all 4 corners are significantly different. Turn 1 seems to be a lot tighter corner than turn 3 is. Turn 4 seems to be a lot tighter than turn 2. There's not many markers. It's going to be a fun race no matter what.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some maybe a little bit of crazy racing for about 3 to 4 laps on a stint, and then it's going to probably go single file, and we're going to see cars hitting the wall out of 2. Or I'm sorry, out of 1 going into 2. That's kind of my guess.
Well, it wouldn't be a bad guess. We see that a lot of times in the Indy 500. Cars get tight, aero tight behind other cars and smack that wall on their way. But I don't know, these guys are pretty good at driving these trucks around here. They know that it's not going to be flat out. Unlike the last couple of races that we've had where you can go flat out even in the pack, there's no way you're making these corners flat out in this truck. It's just way too flat. Heck, you can't make them flat out in an Indy car most of the time.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. We'll see who, as you said, we'll see who saves their tires. We've got a full field out here. I think we've got 30, somewhere pushing 40 cars. I'm not sure exactly, 40 trucks. So it's going to be crowded on there on that track. How important is qualifying today?
I think the dirty air is going to be pretty bad here. So the farther up you can get in the grid, the less that effect is going to be. The farther back in the pack you are, the more dirty air you're going to have to deal with, the slower you're going to be. You're going to have to lift and brake more into the corners. So, I mean, qualifying is really important at a track like this.
Qualifying, and as we always say, practicing pits. I said it last week, and I think we saw some. I think we're going to see some green flag pits here. This is a track where people hit the wall and damage their truck, but don't necessarily take out the field doing it. So I think we're going to see some green flag pits tonight.
I hope so. Just be careful for those barrels on pit entry. If you're faking somebody out, it's easy to misjudge what you're doing and smack the wall, smack those barrels coming to pit road. The pit cones are way far out, so it looks like you can go really, really deep and push your lights a little bit getting onto pit road, but you really can't. The entry line is really early. If you try to bait it, you're going to get busted for speeding.
Barrels on pit entry. You sound like a man that's seen that before.
I might have been witness to somebody trying to fake somebody out and misjudge that. Andrew. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think they're getting close to wrapping up qualifying here. It looks like there's, it turns out 35, 36 trucks on track tonight. All but about 3 of them have set a qualifying lap. We were showing some trucks qualifying. You saw some pretty good runs. You also saw people get a little loose and struggle a little bit with their qualifying. So, excuse me, we'll see how that plays out here as this wraps up and give you our grid once qualifying is over. And I believe it just ended.
It did. You had really good timing there, Jerry. Brian Dorsey, it looks like, snagged the pole from Mike Stiverson, hometown Indy boy Mike Stiverson here. Cody Meadows, John Ross make up your second row. Kyle Nadeau and Coleridge Fenimore make up your third row. William Kern, Chris Dorsey, Chris Harefield, and Philip Van Vliet make up your top 10.
Followed by Mark Morton, Gary Bowman, Daniel Coblentz, 14th, Daniel Dufton, Eric Anderson in 15th, Neil Hale, 16, Andrew Caldwell, Kevin Fetty, Leroy Coblentz, and Andy Cork is 20th.
Stephen Music, 21st. Crank Bell rolls off 22nd. David Gainforth, 23rd. Mike Donahue, 24th. Judd Danielson, 25th. Corey Sherman, 26th. George Cushman, 27th. Kendon Cook, 28th. Alan Ayers, 29th. Craig Schroeder, 30th.
Bringing up the back of the field, Chris Letts, 31st. Jonathan Ellis, Paul Turner, Carter Lawson, and Doug Wysocki. I'm seeing him at the back. I'm guessing he did not set a qualifying time or may have struggled a little bit with qualifying. He's a guy we haven't talked about much this season. I don't know if he's been out there. We haven't seen him, but he's a guy you don't talk about during the race. Then at the end of the race, he always seems to be up there in the top 10.
Yeah, you got a few of them in this field like that. They're really, really sneaky whenever it comes to doing that stuff. I think he can make his way up. Get a couple green flag pit stops, maybe pick up some spots that way. It's the easiest place to pass the pit road. I mean, I think we got a good race in store, though, Jerry.
I'm looking forward to it. They're going to start side by side, 2 wide, and try and make it through turn 1. And as I say, I think that we'll see a little bit of battles for the first lap or 2, and then as those tires wear, I think we're just going to see them go single file. It'll be interesting to see what the pit strategy is tonight. Based on fuel consumption, the easy call is probably 16-16 or 16-15, just like that. Somewhere around there, save tires, and then you'll still have 1 extra set at the end if we get a green-white checker.
Yeah, I'm going to do some quick calculator math here, but I think if you can make 17 laps, will that get you with 1 less stop? That'll get you to, I guess it doesn't. So that would be 68 for 17 lap stints.
Yeah, so if you do 16 to
15,
17 laps should get them there. And I heard some of the drivers talking that they can do 17, and I heard some say they cannot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because if you can make it that 16th or 17th lap, so 16 laps each stint gets you 1 lap shy. So you're going to have to, with no cautions, you're going to have to make 17 laps at least once if you want to 3-stop it. You may have to 4-stop it. You may not have a choice. And then if you do 4-stop it, the question is going to be, do you come in early and now and do it? Do you do it at the end and not take tires and still save them? What is your plan with that?
Yeah, you've got Mike Stiverson up here on the front row outside, and he's a guy who usually can save tires and save fuel. I just don't know if you can do it from the lead.
Yeah, I don't think you can do it out front. I mean, I guess if you lift early enough, but you're at risk of losing the lead if you do. I mean, in a perfect world, clean air and able to save the fuel, but things don't work out perfect most of the time.
No, they don't. They don't. Looks like they are coming around the track here. We've got our
looks
pace
like they
truck.
just come off a 4.
Pace truck swerves off, and we're getting ready to go green.
Yeah, pace truck hard left turn on the pit road there. They're coming up to the restart zone, and the green flag is out. Inside lane doesn't get a good jump. I hope Mike doesn't get flagged for that on the outside, making it look like he beat him to the line, but it's close. They're still side by side going into turn 1.
Cody Meadows tried to push that inside line hard. Did not have any luck with that. They are starting to get single file up front, but we do still have side-by-side racing.
Yeah, Mike Stiverson took that on the outside and made it around on the outside of turn 1. He has the lead on the backstretch. Top 3 are single file. They're still side-by-side throughout the pack behind them, though.
Coleridge looking to make some moves on the inside. He is in 4th place, up 2 spots, and looks like he's still trying to get a couple more positions.
That doesn't surprise me at all. Coleridge is an aggressive but a fair driver, really knows what he's doing around here, is probably one of the best we have in this league. He's going to take his time. Fourth place is not where I would want to see him start in the race. Most of the time, he can start in 34th place and still find his way at the front by the end of the race.
They are single file up front, but not in the back. Looks like Eric's
wide
in the middle
crossing the yard of bricks.
Yeah, Eric's in the middle there. They go 2 by 2 going into the corner. Very smart there. Eric takes advantage of that situation and moves up a couple spots.
Yeah, Mike Stuyvesant's still in the lead, getting a bunch of pressure from Brian Dorsey, but those two have checked out over a second away from third place. It is a big gaggle of cars single file from 3rd to 10th, a small gap, and then some more after that. First side-by-side battle is Crank back here, it looks like.
Crank going to the inside and trying to make that stick. Does make it stick. Takes the position from Daniel Coblentz and is back single file.
Yeah, it's going to be what this is. It's going to be who's going to throw the block, who's going to make the run. It's generating that run off of 2 and 4 and hoping for a good entry, as we now have 3 wide up here at the back of this front pack. Whoever the truck was in the middle decided to back out and let them have it, live to fight another day there.
Yeah, they don't mind going 3 wide down the straights, but once you head into that corner, it takes a lot of guts to keep it 3 wide.
Yeah, those corners narrow up pretty. I mean, the track's not very wide to begin with, but the corners narrow up a lot more than it seems like the straights do.
Coleridge looking to make a move on the inside of Cody Meadows. Going into 3, he's going to make it stick. He's got that pass. Kyle looking to follow along with him. Does. Coleridge followed by Kyle, followed by Cody Meadows.
Cody's going to have pressure coming into 4 here as well. May lose another spot, is able to stay in front and get that truck down. That outside lane's just really hard to keep the momentum up. There's not a lot of grip up there, and the inside definitely has the preferred spot going through these flat corners.
So talked about, you were spot on. Mike Stuyvesant right up there up front. I can't really tell if he's saving fuel or not, but that clean air is going to help him with tires, and the fact that he doesn't have traffic, he's up to a gap of 0.4 of a second over Brian Dorsey.
Yeah, Brian was giving him a little bit of pressure for the first few laps, but it looks like he's pulled away. Don't know if Brian's maybe saving a little bit of tire also. I mean, right behind somebody is not the place that you want to be in, so he probably backed off a little bit. He has plenty of gap behind, just trying to ride there right now. And a little bit of a blinker there in front of Crank. Looks like it's going to cost Crank a spot. Now he's able to hold off on the outside back there.
Crank's up 3 spots.
Side by side. Yeah, it cranks up 3 spots. Just a couple trucks side by side. Everybody else is single filed out right now. It just makes you wonder who's saving those tires and who's trying to push to get those spots and hold off people later on at the end of the run. A little wall tap from the light blue car there, looked like.
Kendon Cook, middle of 3 going into 1, and he does back out. They go to 2 by 2 there in the back of the pack. That's a battle for 32nd place. It's a little far back, but those guys are battling hard.
Yeah, nobody's willing to give up any spots here, especially early on in the race, where you think you would want to give them up. But, hey, track position is track position. It doesn't matter as well. We have a little bit of a contact there. Who was that? Was that Crank there that had some contact? Or I believe it was. Crank Bell had some contact with looks like it may have been Daniel Coblentz there. Going into turn 3, it kind of stacked this pack up, and now the entire pack is side by side, trying to get some runs going down the front straightaway.
Yeah, you can really see those guys going down the straightaway, moving back and out, in and out of line, trying to gain just one position at a time, get back single file into the corners.
Yeah, and that you see some heavy bump drafting and everything down the straightaways, really trying to get their lane moving, get the truck in front of them moving, hoping they can clear. Looks like the 09 here is not going to quite be able to clear. Steven Music was unable to clear Mike Donahue there. So they're still side by side down the backstretch. He's going to try again going into turn 3.
Music on the inside of the 70. He gets that run. He's got him clear. Let's see if the 70 tries to cross over. No, he falls in behind and is going to stay behind and try and get some draft.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he was able to do it. He held on pretty good there down the front straightaway and through 1 and 2, but just unable to hold off the move going into turn 3. It's like we've got a little bit of action further up in the pack as well. some side-by-side action. A big group here from, it looks like, maybe Cody Meadows on back. A lot of trucks there single filed out, starting to get some runs on the trucks in front of them. We've completed 7 laps at the line. Going to be starting lap 8, about halfway through this fuel run, and things are starting to spread out a little bit, Jerry.
Yeah, I think now you're really going to see who saved tires and who did not. It's settled down a little bit. I've got the track map up. You can see it. Everybody's still close together, but they're really spread out, single file. Let's see who saves some tires and can make up a couple spots before they pit.
I can tell you who it seems like saved a little bit of tire. That would be your leader, Mike Syverson, who's now 1 second ahead of Brian Dorsey. Looks like he's just in a rhythm up front there, just knocking down some laps, hoping to save some fuel a little bit, maybe make that one less stop, but starting to put a little bit of a gap between P2, who's backed up into 3rd, 4th, and 5th right behind him.
Yeah, Brian Dorsey in P2. We got Coleridge up 3 spots in P3. Kyle Nadeau in 4th place. John Ross, Cody Meadows, William Kern in 7th. Mark Morton, Chris Dorsey, followed by Chris Harefield in 10th place.
Yeah, Gary Bowman currently in 11th. Philip Van Vliet in 12th. Nathan Dufton in 13th. Andrew Caldwell, Neil Hale, Kevin Fetty, Eric Anderson in 17th. Crank Bell 18th. Andy Cork and Stephen Music in 20th.
21st is Mike Donahue, Judd Danielson in 22nd. Alan Ayers up 6 spots into 23rd. Corey Sherman, Carter Lawson, Leroy Coblentz, Greg Schroeder, George Cushman, Daniel Coblentz in 29th. Doug Wysocki up 5 spots into 30th.
Yeah, Jonathan Ellis 31st, Chris Letson 32nd, Paul Turner 33rd, Kenan Cook in 34th. And it looks like we have 1 truck in the pits of Dave Gameforth. Also, I'm not sure what happened. If what happened there, if he was able to start, I wasn't paying that close of attention, but currently sitting in the pits and has been for the last few minutes, unfortunately for him.
Had a little bit of a battle there for 4th place going down the straights. Looks like they straightened it out. Going into the corners, they are single file again. Kyle, John, followed by Brian. And Cody has actually caught this pack. You know, he was up there towards those front of those runners, had a little trouble, fell back, and has now caught the back of this pack again.
Yeah, you just wonder if maybe he overheated the tires a little bit, had to back out of it, let them cool off. But he's actually been running some faster lap times than these guys have been. Was a green to the board last lap, actually. Could be a benefit of having that draft. Could also save just a little bit of tire. He's putting a lot of pressure on Brian Dorsey there in 5th place, trying to take that spot from him.
Also a battle here for 13th place. We saw him too wide. They straighten out again. And I imagine going down this straight, you're going to see him getting side by side. You see cars pushing, trying to work together and move up on the cars in front of them.
Yeah, with whatever happened, you see Dave Gameforth there coming out of the pits. He is a lap down, multiple laps down, coming through here right now in the middle of this pack. But he's a good driver. Will get out of the way for these guys and won't put his nose anywhere it doesn't need to be.
Oh, Cody Meadows in the
wall off of 4 there.
Yeah, we had that on camera.
His corners get tight, and just behind that other truck is just not able to do anything. He's going to lose 1, maybe 2 spots going into turn 1 here. Yeah, he's just going to give that spot up as well and regroup. It's probably some damage to the right side of that truck. He's going to try to cross him back over there going through 2. That's not a great idea. He backs out of it and ends up letting him have the spot. Going to work for a run down the back straightaway.
That was a hard hit. That's going to cause some aero damage. He is trying to side draft the 48 of Mark Morton and get some spots back. He's got a little draft help in front. They are side by side heading into turn 1.
Yeah, Mark Morton just kind of backs out, lets him have it, but Cody's not able to get to the bottom. Mark's going to have a better corner here. If he can generate the run going into 4, he might have a run down the front straightaway and fight Cody back again for that position. Cody's going to dive underneath Brian Dorsey, though. The truck he was looking to get underneath when he smacked the wall, he's going to have a run. It's going to be a drag race down the front straightaway across the yard of bricks and into turn 1.
Cody Meadows on the inside. He's looking to make that pass. He's up to the front quarter. He does make the pass. Let's see if he can make it stick. Mark Morton looking to the inside to try and go with him, and he does. So it's Cody, followed by Mark, followed by the 28 of Chris Dorsey.
Yeah, that is a battle for 6th place there that you saw, that we were watching there live. Man, I think Cody probably needs to send Mark Morton a Christmas card, because I don't know that move would have stuck if Mark hadn't followed him through there into turn 1. He washed up in turn 1, wasn't able to get the truck down to the concrete on the bottom, and I don't know that he would have been able to make it stick. But thanks to Mark, it was able to work out.
Absolutely. I think you're right that. And Mark also took advantage and was able to gain a spot himself. We see Gainforth with those fresh tires. He's not trying to push it too hard, but he is trying to gain whatever time he can while he's out there on track.
Yeah, I guess the good news for him is he doesn't have to worry about saving fuel with the time in the pits. It's going to be a 3-stop for him no matter what. But we are on lap 13. I think we're going to find out pretty soon who's going to try for a 3-stop and who's going to have to 4-stop it here.
Yeah, while we were away, Mark Morton passed Cody Meadows. He's now got that gap up to 0.3. I think Mark's done a good job of saving those tires. I don't know if Cody is suffering from some of that damage on the wall, but Mark is up 5 spots into 6th place and on a charge.
Yeah, it looks like another battle on the track back here for 20th place is going to be Mike Donahue and Steven Music side by side. There's also a battle going on behind them. It looks like between Corey Sherman and Carter Lawson that are trying to get those spots for 23rd and 24th.
Oh, we do have our first car in the
truck.
pits.
Yeah, first truck onto pit road. Looks like it is Brian Dorsey. That is going to be a definite 4-stop. He cannot 3-stop that from here. So the question is he going to try to run long, or is he going to use tires on every single one of them? I don't know the math on that. Sometimes that can work out.
Yeah, you think by now I'd get truck and cars straightened out.
Well, I say car about 3/4 of the time also, Jerry. So
they're still a race car to me. They're a truck body, but they're still a race car.
Exactly. I mean, it looks like this is going to be interesting with the tires and what Brian Dorsey does on the tires, because the times have fallen off 2 seconds a lap from their fastest. As we have some 3-wide action here going into turn 3. Looks like Corey Sherman's going to shove it underneath Steven Music, and Mike Donahue there is going to be able to clear them both.
Oh, we're seeing more cars in the pits.
And I do apologize. That was Steven Music and Judd Danielson he was fighting with, not Mike Donahue. He is about 7/10 up the road. Mike is from this group. But Corey Sherman was able to shove it 3 wide and take 2 spots in 1 set of corners. As you said, more trucks are coming into the pits right now.
Yeah,
again, you're going to need at least 16 laps to be able to make it on 3 stops. I don't know if anybody can do it or not.
Yeah, we're going to find out here soon. There's Mike. He is right now, let's see. Where is he on track? He is heading into 4. Let's see if he pits.
Yeah, got an eye on him. It doesn't look like it. He's staying out right now, as is 2nd place. I don't see anybody quite yet ready to go in there. Looks like John Ross, who is running in 4th, and Mark Morton in 6th, decided to both come in.
Yeah, Mark did not have a good pit entrance there. Hit the wall, had to lock him up. I don't think he got speeding. We'll see if he had damage.
I missed it, Jerry. I was too busy watching other stuff. Mark Morton does have a meatball, it looks like, meatball flag, so I'm not sure if that is just iRacing showing it as a black flag and it's coming up wrong, or if he does actually have a meatball and some damage, but it looks like a penalty for sure.
Yeah, we are back up front. Mike Stiverson's probably going to need to pit, but he's got a car underneath him going into 3. Looks like he backs out just a little bit. Kyle's right on his bumper now. So I don't know. Mike lost a lot of time there. I don't know if he's saving fuel heavy.
Yeah, is he stuttering? It looks like he's going to be low. He's coming to pit road this time. So I'm wondering if maybe he stuttered coming down the backstretch. Looks like Mark Morton may have actually had that meatball, because he is looks like he's taken it to the hauler, it appears, and put that truck on the hauler. That's a shame. He had a really good run going in the top 10, but off to the hauler for Mark Morton.
Man, Mike Stiverson came in, but Kyle Coleridge, William Kern, Cody Meadows, Gary Bowman, none of them came in. They are running this extra lap.
Yeah, it's okay for Mike to do that. I think it's a good call. If he knows he can get it, you had that full pace lap that you had to do. If he's close, you might as well take the 16 now. You only need one 17-lap run. You might as well do it now. Try to get the new tires 1 lap sooner. Try to make that gap up now, and then go from there. See what you have to do at the end of the race.
We are on.
I don't know that I would wait till the last run to make it. Looks like Kyle's still staying out. He's able to do another lap.
Yeah, he is. Coleridge comes in. Looks like a good clean stop, but we do have folks staying out.
And we have a bunch of trucks coming to pit road. Oh, we had
Oh,
one truck not
no!
able to make it.
Neil
Able
did
to get
not
it
make
going.
it, blocked it, and he missed the pit entrance, went to the outside. Is that going to cause a yellow?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like we are still green here.
He was able to not stop the truck, get back up to speed, so we are still green. It'll be interesting to see. Let's get on Neil here, see if he can make it around or if he runs out of fuel.
That will be interesting. I wasn't thinking about that. And even if he has to clutch it around, your race is already kind of done, barring a caution anyway. I just get it home and make a good, clean pit entry.
You've got,
like you were talking about, practice that pit entry. This is what's going to make or break races. We've seen 3 or 4 trucks have issues coming to pit road. Kyle's going to make his way to pit road this time. Looks like a nice, easy pit stop. Was able to get it into that box get it into pit road anyway, pretty easily.
so
making
Neil,
the way down this long, narrow pit road.
Yeah,
to
Neil
his
looked
box.
like he was going to make it in. So we're on Mike now. Mike was our leader when all these pits started. Right now it's showing Neil ahead, but he was going into the pits. So let's see where Mike comes out of the pits relative to those guys that pit later laps.
Yeah, it looks like he should cycle pretty well back to the lead. I'm not sure how much in front he's going to be, but he will easily take over the lead, it appears.
Yeah, he is coming around the front stretch, getting ready to hit the start-finish line. The other cars you'll see coming out of the pits now.
Yeah, it looks like Kyle just now left his box, and Mike is going to be well clear of all those trucks on pit exit.
Oh, yeah, we've got Kyle's actually about 5 seconds back, just getting up to speed.
I mean, it makes you wonder if maybe Kyle took it a little too easy. Looking at pit lane time, Mike Stiverson with a 49.87 and a 14.85 second stop. Kyle Nadeau with a 51.47 pit lane time, just about the same pit stop. So a lot of this time, so Mike pit 3 laps sooner, 2 seconds a lap. There's 6 seconds, plus the 3 seconds on pit road. He's 7 seconds behind. That's about what he lost.
Yeah, and that includes time on pit road. It doesn't include your approach to pit road, which I could say, for example, you are always faster on your approach to pit road than I am. I think you can gain a second on me pretty much every time. So practicing pits is not just in the pits and hitting your stall. It's also getting down to speed, but trying to do it quickly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, getting down speed and getting back up to speed. Also, it looks like we have a truck with maybe a blown motor here in front of our leader. Not sure what happened, but I saw a puff of smoke as the leader was going down the backstretch, and that vehicle is now on the access road in 3 and 4. Not sure who that was.
Kyle's here in 8th place. He's got
like
fresh tires.
Jonathan Ellis, it looks like, is going to have to call it to the hauler. I saw a puff of smoke. I'm not sure if it was a bad shift or what, but a puff of smoke, and unfortunately had to call the tow truck from the access road and get it to the hauler.
Yeah, Kyle here, he's in 7th place. He's got the fresher tires. He's got William Kern and Crank Bell in front of him. I think he wants to make up some of that time, but at the same time, he is got to make sure he saves those tires and be patient. Crank Bell, 5th place, up 14 spots. It's getting ready to be passed here, but nonetheless, that's impressive.
Yeah, actually 17 spots as he's now passed by William Kern. So 16 spots, but not only that, look at Alan Ayers in 9th place, up 20 spots from where he started. We talk about practice and pit entry. Alan's been putting a lot of time and a lot of practice in lately, and it is showing. Winning the season opener this year for the Truck Series, coming back out, he's running well in the top 10 right now. He's putting some pretty good lap times in, faster than a few of the trucks in front of him. He may have enough to get to the top 5 today.
Yeah, we talked earlier about qualifying well is what you want to do, and sometimes you just can't help it for whatever reason. You don't have a good qualifying run. You've got to find places and time to make up on track. Sometimes you can do it passing cars, but sometimes you do it in the pits. And I think Alan's pit practice has helped quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I know we harp on it every single week. Save that right front, practice your pit entry. Save that right front, practice your pit entry. For a few seasons, that was what Alan struggled with the most, but the practice he's been putting in has done great. as is some of these other guys up here. We talk about that as well, saving that right front. Look at Mike Stiverson now with a 1.8 second gap over Coleridge in second place.
Yeah, we talked about Crank Bell. Alan Ayers up big. The other guys up big. Doug Wysocki up 12 spots into 23rd. Craig Schroeder up 9 spots into 22nd.
Yeah, not only that, Paul Turner up 8 spots into 25th. Those are your biggest movers of the race so far. Not sure what happened, but one of the biggest losers on the track right now is Cody Meadows, down 26 spots from where he started. You just have to wonder, maybe did he sit and get that aero damage fixed a little bit? Did he spend some extra time on pit road? Looks like he had a 55-second pit stop, so I would say that's probably where most of his time lost here.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So back to the front, quick rundown. We've gone through our first pit cycle. Mike Stiverson is up front by almost 2 seconds, followed by Coleridge Vennemore, Brian Dorsey, John Ross, William Kern, Kyle Nadeau, Chris Dorsey, Crank Bell in 9th, and Alan Ayers now up 19 spots in 10th place.
Yeah, Eric Anderson's now in 11th place in a big battle here with Kevin Fetty, Chris Harefield, and Andrew Caldwell as well. Nathan Dupton in 15th, Stephen Music 16th, Philip Van Vliet in 17th, Mike Donahue 18th, Andy Cork 19th, Judd Danielson in 20th.
Corey Sherman's 21st, Craig Schroeder, Daniel Koblentz, Doug Wysocki up 11 spots to 24th, Paul Turner, Leroy Koblentz, Carter Lawson in 27th, Cody Meadows we talked about, 28th place, George Cushman, Chris Letts is in the pits, so he just got passed by Kendon Cook in 30th.
Yeah, Neil Hill in 31st after his mishap entering pit road. Chris Letts leaving the pits now in 32nd. Jonathan Ellis in 33rd. 34th is Dave Gainforth, and Mark Morton, like we had said, taking it to the hauler in last place right now in 35th.
Got that track map still up for you viewers to see. You can see they're pretty spread out now. So at this point, I think we've got a really good chance of going green, barring a pit stop calamity.
And looking through our YouTube chat here, it looks like the 101 had some contact with the 6. 101 had some damage. That's why he was in the pits early. We also have a little bit of an argument over pit strategy here. Looks like another one of our cyber racers here, another Mad Simmer, said he'd do every 15 laps and then a short stint at the end with a 2-tire stop. That seems to be his MO. He loves taking 2 tires everywhere. I think saving fuel and saving that extra set of tires is the better way to go, personally.
Yeah, we need to have a side race, little side race for see which strategy works out. Kyle here trying to make a move for 5th place up next to Brian Dorsey on the inside, going into 1, I believe. Yes, he makes a pass. It looks like Dorsey just backs out and lets them both go, is content to fall in behind William Kern and save some fuel and tires.
Yeah, I'm looking through trying to find some more battles back here. It looks like Doug Wysocki just got past. Yeah, they're going to be almost 3 wide going into turn 1. Decides to back out of that. Looks like Paul Turner is going to be able to go underneath him. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to clear in a battle for 23rd, 24th, and 25th place. He does clear Daniel Koblentz, though, going into turn 2. Daniel hoping to regroup a little bit and have a run down the back straightaway. It looks like up here as well, around Andy Cork, Judd Danielson, Mike Donahue, they have a big battle going on here. 5 or 6 trucks underneath a blanket going into turn 3.
I'll tell you what, in the past we've seen some really aggressive driving in these trucks, which is fine, not knocking it at all. It's great, but we're seeing a lot more, what do we call it? Careful racing is what I would call it. Nobody wants to ruin their truck. We've seen 3 wide down the straights, but not in the corners. We've seen a lot of people yielding. I think everybody's really trying to save their trucks.
Yeah, and not only that, this is kind of a 1-lane racetrack. Like, there's not a lot of grip on the outside lane. There's not a lot of room. That wall comes out to you quickly. If someone is fully alongside of you, it's almost just safer and easier and faster for everybody to just lift, let them by, pull in behind, try to work a run down the backstretch. I mean, this is one of the few exceptions of the rule. I guess not exceptions of the rule, because you don't make your passes on entry. You complete your passes on entry. And that's what this track kind of forces. Get a run off of 2 and 4, work alongside them going into 1 or 3, and then make the pass, complete the pass there.
Brian Dorsey back in the pits. We are on lap 28, so he has been consistent in his 14-lap strategy. We're, early on here, not even halfway. We'll have to see how this plays out for him.
Yeah, Mike Stiverson still enjoying. Leads come down a little bit now. A 1 second lead over Coleridge Fenimore. Like I said, you don't want to give Coleridge too much of a sniff of clean air because he's pretty darn good and is able to work his way up there. We'll see if Coleridge's pit strategy, pitting a lap later than Mike, if it comes to fruition at the end, or if Mike has to save a little bit here, maybe let him by. It'll be interesting to see when they decide to do their long stints, talking about John Ross, Mike Stiverson, if they decide to go that 3-stop route.
Yeah, you can see when we go to blimp view here of Coleridge, you saw Mike in the front, but you don't see anybody behind. They are almost 6 seconds back, that gap from second to third.
Yeah, it's a big gap up there. We saw this last week too, though. 2 or 3 trucks that were 6 or 7 seconds ahead of everybody else, and then the rest of the field, tight battles all the way throughout the field. It's different people up front this time, but the same kind of race as what we had last week.
Not going to happen probably for a lap or two, but Mike Stiverson's just now starting to get a sniff of some lap traffic. So we'll see how this plays out once we get these leaders hitting some lap traffic that are battling for positions themselves.
Yeah, battling for positions and battling pretty hard for those positions as well. Looked like a few bumps coming down the corner. He's going to try to make a pass on the outside. Hits the wall really hard. That is an interesting battle there going on.
Oh, and then we got a blinker. So Chris Letts hits the wall. The inside car blinks. Chris moves down to the inside to let Mike go. I think he's either got some damage he knows or is just saying, I don't want to ruin somebody else's race. So Mike gets the first lap car pretty easily.
Yeah, and don't look now, but Coleridge is getting some pressure, it looks like, also from another lap car here.
Oh, it's a lap car, but it's one that's already pit. Brian Dorsey with fresh tires.
Yeah, trying to make that move.
Oh, he gets loose on exit.
Yeah, a little push loose on exit there. Wall may have helped him save it a little bit. Don't think he made contact, but just enough air coming off the wall gives Coleridge another good run back down the front stretch here, but Brian's going to try to make the pass on Mike. He had a good run. He's going to get him in the short shoot here between 1 and 2.
So we saw this last time as well. That last lap, Mike really lost a lot of that lead. I was thinking he was heavy saving. Car in front gets in the wall, but Coleridge has caught Mike Stiverson and is looking to make a pass for the lead.
Yeah, Mike's running a pretty defensive line there, not giving him a lane to the inside as well, though. I'm wondering if maybe the same thing happened the last time, if there was maybe Brian coming out on tires, just he's not able to get to the bottom. The car behind gives him that good run. I'm wondering if that's what happened to Mike the last time as well, if just new tires coming around him. Coleridge is going to have a really good run coming down there.
Oh, the car
Mike's
in front blinked out.
Lap car.
Well, the lap car blinked out, and Mike assumed that he was staying on his line, but the lap car tried to get out of the way, and when he came out, he was right in front of Mike.
Yeah, Mike looks like he's struggling a little bit with the tight truck. He's unable to get to the bottom in 1 and 2. He had the same problem in 3 and 4 last time. Coleridge is just able to wrap that bottom line a little bit more. He's putting a lot of pressure on him for the lead here. He's not going to try to make the pass. He's going to shove him down the backstretch, though.
I was going to say, he seems to content, and I think it's smart. They can drive faster together than they can fighting each other. He seems content to go ahead, and let's try and run some real fast laps.
All right, we're completing lap 32 here at the line. Is Mike going to be pitting this time, or is he going to make another lap?
Does not look like he's
on lap
pitting.
16. Yep, he's going to make it one more lap. So this should be his 17-lap run. My math is right. He can make it on 2 more 16-lap stints, which from what we heard is pretty easy to do. I mean, Mike did it the first time with a full out lap and everything else. So it looks like at least your top 2, top 3 are going to be able to make it on that 3-stop strategy.
So Coleridge is content to sit in here behind Mike, just push him along. The two of them turn fast laps. The lead to Kyle, though, is down to 4 seconds. Kyle's within 4 seconds of them.
Yeah, but we've got that extra. He's had that extra lap of tires on Coleridge and an extra 2 laps on Mike. I think that's probably where a lot of the pace is coming from. So we've got a couple trucks on pit road right now. A couple more sound like they're coming. Looks like Mike's going to make the hard left turn. He's coming to pit road this time as well. Nice, easy pit entry there for leader, or former leader. Coleridge now takes it over. He's letting some trucks with some fresh tires go around him in turn 1 as well. Looking, the field is pretty spread out here. We'll see what happens after this pit cycle as well. But that tends to be what happens in a lot of these races. Is once you start getting green flag pit stops, the field spreads out pretty good. You got some nice little packs of battles. Our leader, Coleridge, is going to be coming to pit road this time. Probably a good idea because Kyle's knocked that lead down to Coleridge to 2.5 seconds now.
Oh, Coleridge's going to pit, but he's got a car underneath him right now going into 4. He's got fresh tires. I think Coleridge, yes, he gets behind him and is looking to make that pit work.
Yeah, we have a bunch of trucks coming down pit road this time, it sounds like. 3 or 4 on pit road currently, and heard a bunch of people calling out to come this time as well. So that cycles Kyle back out to the lead. Wonder if he's going to try to make it a couple extra laps now. Is he trying to get this where he has a 4 or 5 lap tire advantage? I know he's losing some time now, but if he can work it to get 5 or 6 laps worth of tire advantage on that last run, it might work out worthwhile for him.
Well, that's certainly when you want to have your fresher tires there is, you know, if you need to make a pass or 2 there at the end, having fresher tires is going to be huge. We've got
just that drive off the corner.
Yeah, so I let's talk about this for a minute. You know, normally we're seeing everybody on the same pit cycle, same tire strategy. What's different tonight?
Well, I think they got an extra set of tires today that they didn't have the last few weeks. Granted, Daytona, it doesn't really matter. You're not really worried about tires anyway. But the last 2 weeks, we've had just enough tires to make the race. I think some of the drivers tried to petition to get an extra set of tires. I think that's why you're seeing this varied strategy here, because you have that set of tires to be able to make the decision between, do I 4-stop it, short pit, take those tires early and use them all, or save a set for the end. I think personally some extra tires opens the door for strategy. Now, you don't want unlimited tires either. Unlimited tires can be just as bad as too few where everybody's going to do the same thing. But I think right now, that extra set of tires is opening the door for a lot of strategy calls, at least here at Indy.
I agree with you. I think 1 extra set of tires is about perfect. It allows people to try different strategies. And, you know, for us announcing the race, you know, we're halfway through or almost halfway through, and it'd be easy to say, well, so-and-so's in front, they're going to win. But we don't know now because we've got these different pit strategies. And really, we're not going to know until the last probably 3 or 4 laps exactly where those guys are and how their strategy worked out.
Right. And I mean, even that may be too soon, Jerry. We may not know till the last lap where these strategies are going to work out and what was the right call to make. Without a significant amount of testing, it's really kind of hard to tell with all this. So we're just going to have to sit back and watch.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Stiverson and Coleridge here are going to cycle out this, what I'll call pit cycle, back to the front. But you've got guys, excuse me, you've got guys like Dorsey we talked about earlier that's on a completely different pit strategy. We won't know if his pit strategy worked or not until those last few laps.
Right. Mike Stiverson does inherit the lead from Gary Bowman, who was in the pits right there, and Andy Cork, who also ran long. But the gap is a lot smaller than it was the last time he came out in front of Coleridge. Coleridge, again, has 1 lap fresher tires than Mike does, but the gap's now down to 0.6 of a second instead of 2 seconds. We saw at the end of that run the last time, Coleridge was able to get to Mike and decided to push him along. Does he play that nice again as we come to what could be our next final pit stop for some of these guys?
Yeah, and the gap to Kyle Nadeau is also not quite as big. It was over 5 seconds. It's now just under 5 seconds. So Kyle's made up a little bit of time as well.
Yeah, I think those fresher tires at the end, it looked like he had a better pit entry as well. He didn't take it quite as easy. Pit lane time was a little more on par with everybody. Yeah, pit lane time for your top 3, 50.5, 49.2, and a 50.7. So it looks like there's where Coleridge gained a lot of the time on Mike. It wasn't necessarily the fresher tires. It was that 1.5 seconds faster pit lane time.
Yeah, so now this pit cycle has gone through, and as I say, we've got some people on different pit strategies, but your top 10 as of now: Mike Stiverson, Coleridge Finnemore, Kyle Nadeau, John Ross, William Kern in 5th, Brian Dorsey, Crank Bell up 15 spots into 7th, Chris Harefield, Andrew Caldwell, and Kevin Fetty in 10th.
Yeah, Chris Dorsey's running in 11th right now. Eric Anderson 12th. Gary Bowman in 13th. Alan Ayers still up 15 spots, falling back a little bit, though, from our last check-in. He's now in 14th position. Nathan Dufton in 15th. Stephen Music in 16th. Philip Van Vliet 17th. Mike Donahue 18th. Corey Sherman 19th. And Doug Wasaki in 20th.
Carter Lawson 21, Craig Schroeder, Daniel Koblentz, Paul Turner up 9 spots in 24th, Leroy Koblentz, Andy Cork 26th, Cody Meadows still out there chugging at 27th, Judd Danielson, George Cushman at 29th, and Neil Hell in 30th.
Kendon Cook 31st, Chris Letts 32nd, Dave Gainforth in 33rd. And it looks like we have Jonathan Ellis and Mark Morton both with their trucks on the hauler right now, not currently running laps.
Mike Stiverson has extended his lead back to over 1 second. He is back on, I'll call it automatic mode. And Mike is so good at this. When he doesn't have cars around, when he's got clean air, he can just cruise and be fast.
Yeah, I was going to say something, though. Before we did our rundown, I was looking and he was green to the field, even though he had a little bit older tires than some of these guys. I just wonder if maybe he's pushing a little bit too hard too early, and if that's hurting him in the long run here. If he's just abusing those tires a little bit too much, as again, I'm looking at last lap, and he was basically green to everybody on the field, despite the fact that people like Kyle Nadeau have 3-lap fresher tires than he does.
Well, I brought up his last couple laps are pretty slow. I thought it would maybe fuel saving. Maybe it's just tires are gone.
It could very well be. Looking at it from the beginning of it now, maybe he's listening and he'll understand. Maybe he'll back it off for that final stint. But I think he's maybe just be pushing just a little bit too hard, pulling this gap out early instead of just riding and maintaining the gap with Coleridge behind him.
Nathan Dufton looking to make a move on Alan Ayers. You saw him go to the inside. Alan did not give it up. He does look like he is going to get past, but he did not pull over for Nathan Dufton.
Hey, it's all fighting for position here. I mean, you can't do anything at all. You've got to fight for position. We have a big gaggle of trucks right about a half of straightaway in front of these guys, though, all the way from Chris Harefield down to Brian Dorsey. Throw a blanket over all of them. They were 2-3 wide going through turn 1 right there. Single filed out coming off a 2, and now we're back to 2 wide. They're trying to get around some of these vehicles.
Eric Anderson moving to the inside of Crank Bell. Eric has help from behind. Let's see if he can carry that momentum in and make the pass. I think he's probably going to get it done. Crank goes to the outside, slows up a little bit, can't carry that momentum because he doesn't want to hit the wall. Crank ends up with 2 cars passing and now has a third on the inside.
Yeah, a lot of that can be written off to tires, though. Crank pit on lap 30. Looks like the vehicle's either around. Chris Harefield pit on 29, but Eric Anderson, Kevin Fetty both pit on lap 33, so 3 laps fresher than Crank, and Gary Bowman 6-lap fresher tires than Crank.
All right, 24 to go. Brian Dorsey is in the pits. He's the only one, I think, on this early strategy. We'll see how this plays
for
out.
Crank in the middle, in the short shoot between 1 and 2. Didn't look like to be as hard as Cody's hit was earlier, but it was definitely a little significant hit there. They're still side by side. This group is, looks like from 7th to 10th place, 2 by 2 going down the backstretch into turn 3.
Yeah, Eric Anderson once again making a move on the inside with some help from the 06 car. Or 60.
That is a big move by Gary Bowman there. Is able to get underneath Chris Harefield and also take the spot from Kevin Fetty in the same corner. Looks like he just wrapped that bottom a little bit easier with those 3-lap fresher tires in this group. Was able to get underneath him as soon as Kevin washed up a little bit, and Gary made 2 passes, 2 spots in 1 corner.
That puts Eric in 7th, Gary 8th, Kevin Fetty in 9th. There is a battle to reach this top 10. To stay in the top 10.
That looks to be your closest action on track. We've got a couple 2-3 truck battles from there, but this is your biggest group closest together right now, as Mike Stiverson still has a 1.1 second lead over Coleridge Finnemore.
Corey Sherman looking to try and make a move on Mike Donahue. Corey's, I don't know if he's getting a little loose or a little frustrated. He looks like he's going to settle in, try and get the draft, goes to the inside to try to make the move, going into 3. He's there side by side into 3. He looks like he should have the pass made. He is got it.
Yeah, we're going to see if maybe Mike Donahue can get a little run coming out of 4 here, maybe cross him over, take the spot back into turn 1. Tries to get to the bottom, just isn't quite able to do it with the truck there. Corey's going to be able to hold on to that spot pretty easily down the front straightaway.
So I talked earlier, Kyle Nadeau's, I said it was just under 4 seconds. It's now down under 3 seconds. So Kyle is making up time on these leaders.
Yeah, we were talking about fastest trucks on track. Now, Kyle's last lap was a half of a second faster than Mike Stiverson's. A little bit faster than Coleridge Fenimore's, but he was a half a second. A 54.9 for Mike to a 54.4 for Kyle. The only 2 trucks in the 54.4s are going to be Kyle and William Kern. So your trucks in 4th and 5th are significantly faster than the rest of the field right now. And they're also 2 of the trucks that pit later than everybody else did.
Yeah, we think we've got 1 truck that may have pit later, Gary Bowman, but other than that, those 2 were the latest to pit.
I think Gary Bowman may just be stuck. Now that he's made his way around Eric Anderson, we'll be able to see what those 1 lap fresher tires will do over Kyle and William. But he's not too far back from these guys as well. I guess he's got a couple spots to make up. He's 9 seconds behind William Kern and 12 seconds behind Kyle. That's going to be a tall ask to make up in 20 laps. Had to be a half a second a lap faster the entire time to do that. But don't count Kyle out right now for this win. I think he's for sure got a podium if he can keep it out of the wall. But this win is wide open today.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're seeing some gaps here, but with these tire strategies, we're going to see how they play out. I think any of these top 3 could actually win it today.
Yeah, and of course, that's not counting the off strategy that we saw might work out as well. Brian Dorsey is still going to be up here with that strategy. I think he still has 1 more pit stop to make, but those fresher tires may just work out in his favor. We don't know how that's going to cycle yet.
Yeah, he is right now running 28th. He is down 27 spots, from that with his pit strategy, but he's got the freshest tires. Let's see what he can do with them.
Yeah, currently right now, I was talking about fastest trucks on track. He's over a second a lap faster than everybody else can even think about doing. Kyle is still significantly faster. Looks like we have a pass for the lead, though, that we missed. Coleridge Fenimore is going to be your new leader coming off of turn 4. Completing lap 46, going to start lap 47. We missed it somewhere, Jerry, but
let me go back to that in replay.
Now second place.
Yeah, you're seeing it now here in the replay. Coleridge got the run down the straights going into 3, came inside of Mike going into 3. Looks like they are side by side headed into 3. Coleridge uses his momentum to get ahead. Mike backs out just a little bit. Coleridge takes the lead.
Yeah, I think maybe what we thought earlier is definitely what happened. Mike may have been pushing a little bit too hard early on in the race. Realized that. I think if he didn't realize it earlier, he definitely realized it now, and he's going to have to try to hold on from Kyle coming up quickly behind.
And you can see, yes, you can see all 3 of them now in the same screen, Coleridge, Mike, and Kyle. These leaders are starting to slow down just a little bit. I think they still are the 3 that are competing for the win here, but they are starting to group up as we get towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. I'm looking at times because I thought Brian Dorsey would be a little farther up than what he is right now. It's about 4 seconds slower than most of the other trucks on pit road that last time. So I'm not sure if he had some damage or if he missed his box, but that may be what's caused him to be a little further behind than what we expected. We do have the 18 of Chris Harefield is on pit road, as well as the 14 of Crank Bell this lap as well.
So these guys pitting
driving
now.
Away now. 1 second lead over Mike Stuyvesant, who's falling back pretty hard.
Yeah, these guys pitting now are not going to be able to make it on fuel, so I have to assume at this point their pit strategy is to just come in, get a splash, or maybe get 2 tires and a splash.
Yeah, we think 17 is pretty much as far as you can make it. They would have to make 18 laps to make it to the end. I guess so if they think they're going to be a lap down, you could make it because it'd only be 17 laps of running, but none of them have been able to make 17 laps yet work.
Kyle on Mike's bumper here.
Yeah, that was quick. I think Mike is struggling right now with his vehicle. You can just tell he's having a really hard time getting it to the bottom. He still can't, even there, Kyle's just able to roll the center of the corner a lot better, get on the power, and he's going to have a huge run coming down the back straight. Mike Stiverson's going to fall back to third place now. Early leader, has probably led the most laps of anybody here tonight. He'll be wanting that bonus point for sure, but falling away from Kyle, who is now chasing down Coleridge 1.5 seconds in front.
Yeah, you see Mike on corner entry and exit. That truck is wiggling. He is just, I think he's really pushing on entry and getting loose on exit, trying to get that power down.
Yeah, just having a hard time getting it there, getting it down there to the bottom. If you can get it to the bottom of that little concrete patch in the center of the corner, it helps the truck turn a little bit. It has a little bit more grip, it seems like, on the left side tires. Is able to shorten the corner up a little bit, and he just can't seem to get down there. I don't know right now, following Kyle, if he's searching for some clean air half a lane up, or if he's really struggling that bad. But he's had a hard time the last few laps just trying to get to the bottom.
So it'll be interesting. We're 16 to go. Does Mike try and stay up here and get some tires, or does he work on saying, okay, I'm going to get some fresh tires and try and undercut?
Well, the more interesting thing, I think, is Kyle has gone long the few stints before. Does Kyle short pit over
Coleridge in the wall. Just a little tap.
Leader with a little scrape there in the short shoot of 3 and 4. Mike's going to make the hard left turn. He's coming to pit road. I think the call for Kyle may be try to come in. I know he's faster right now, but that means you're faster on the long run anyway. Get that short run tires going. Try to jump him. You're 2 seconds a lap slower right now. If you can pit a lap in front of him, you can make it on fuel easy. You're not going to lose anything. You're going to lose the spot to Mike right now anyway with him coming out on fresh tires. Don't lose more time to Coleridge by running long.
Yep, I would agree with that. Let's see what they do. We are now 15 to go. We've got Coleridge and Kyle heading into 3. Let's see if they hit pit road.
Coleridge is called out. He is coming to pit road. Let's see if Kyle follows him or not, or if he lets him go and goes a lap longer like he's been doing in the past. I just don't know that you're going to be able to make up that time on this final run. I think Coleridge doesn't show everything he has. Kyle's going to follow him to pit road. Has a really good entry there, is able to close the gap down good. As long as Kyle didn't speed, he closed that gap to Coleridge really good on pit entry.
That puts Gary Bowman in the lead, followed by Corey Sherman and Philip Van Leet. Looks like Gary is pitting.
Yeah, so Gary's not going to take that lead. Is Corey going to be able to take? Is he coming? He's coming down pit road also. Nobody wants that bonus point. Philip coming to pit road also. Carter, Mike. No one wants that. Mike Donahue. Nobody wants that bonus point. Is Andy going to stay out? Nope. He's going to pit as well. Should hand the lead back over to Mike Stiverson, who's going through turn 4 right now.
So if you're Mike, let's see where he pulls out in respect to Coleridge. You've already learned, hopefully, that you're at the end of your runs, you've been struggling compared to these other guys. You know they're going to have fresher tires. How do you work your strategy here to stay in front of those guys?
I don't know that he's actually going to clear these guys. It looks like it's going to be close. They may have him on pit exit here. He's coming through turn 2. They are merging back onto the back straightaway. It looks like Coleridge and Kyle are both going to be able to clear him. If I'm Mike right now, I stay behind them. Just maintain the gap. Save a little bit of tire. Keep some pressure on, but maintain this gap. Don't go trying to pass them now. You're in third place. You're clear by 6 seconds over fourth. The worst you can finish without making a mistake is going to be third place. Still going to talk to us at the end of the race. Save some tire. Hope one of these two pushes it too hard. Maybe they push hard each other and wreck each other out, and you can walk away with a win.
So Kyle comes out about a second, a little less than a second behind Coleridge. They now have the same tires. Let's see if Kyle pushes it to try and get that lead.
Yeah, I'm looking. Mike is showing their pit lap the last time. He's green to the board, but he's about 3 or 4 tenths slower than William Kern behind. Maybe he's listening to us, decided to take it a little bit easy. I think he probably could have had the lead if he was pushing hard, but it didn't look like his outlap was really a hard push. Maybe he's a little short on fuel too. Maybe iRacing's auto fuel didn't help him out, didn't do him any favors.
Well, he already knows if he pushes hard at the end, they're going to get past him because they did that, the first time they were catching him. Second time catching him, third time they passed him. So he already knows that if he does the same thing, he's going to have the same result. They're going to pass him at the end. So it's smart to just try something different here. Get behind him, save some tire, and see if you can make a late run or get a little luck.
Yeah, if I'm Mike's crew chief right now, I'm telling him to maintain the gap with the 97, back up those corner entries, roll that center, easy on the gas. Let's save a little bit of tire. We're going to have 11 laps to go coming to the line. Let's see what you can do. Coleridge out front doing the snake going to the inside. Kyle's not having anything of it, though, just maintaining his pace on the outside wall there. Coleridge is trying to break the draft. But sometimes that longer distance down the back straightaway will end up hurting you more than it helped.
So now that we've cycled through that pits, we've got Coleridge, followed by Kyle, Mike Stiverson. We've been talking about them all night. But William Kern, third place. Andrew Caldwell in fifth. John Ross. Kevin Fetty up 11 spots into seventh. Eric Anderson in eighth. Gary Bowman in ninth. Chris Harefield in 10th.
Yeah, Crank Bell in 11th. Chris Dorsey in 12th. Alan Ayers in 13th. Brian Dorsey in 14th, Nathan Defton 15th, Corey Sherman 16th, Carter Lawson in 17th, Mike Donahue 18th, Paul Turner and Doug Wasaki make up your top 20.
Andy Cork, Craig Schroeder, Leroy Coblentz, Philip Van Leet, Cody Meadows, Judd Danielson, Stephen Musick, and George Cushman make out your lap leaders. Brian Dorsey is in the pits now. We've been talking about his pit cycle strategy. We are 12 to go, basically, so he's splitting this in half. I'm assuming he's going to get fuel and tires, but I don't think this strategy is going to pan out.
Yeah, no, it had some – it looked like it had some merit at the beginning, but I don't know if maybe being stuck in the lap traffic hurt him more than we thought it was going to. But I don't think that extra stop is going to do him any favors whatsoever, as he's now passed and lapped by the lead cars.
Coleridge continues to break the draft, going to the inside down on the straights. Seems to be working. Kyle's now 0.8 of a second back.
Yeah, is it working or is it just saving a little bit of tire? They're 0.8 between Coleridge and Kyle, 0.8 between Kyle and Mike for the top three here. You talked about William Kern. I kind of feel sorry for him. He's really in no man's land. He's 5 seconds behind the lead three, 5 seconds ahead of the cars behind, just turning laps.
Yeah,
sometimes that's good, but it can also lead to a pretty boring race.
Yeah, it is. But I'll tell you what, fourth. We're not going to talk to him after the race, but fourth place is a nice finish for William.
Absolutely. Another couple vehicles. We were talking about bigger movers up there as well. Carter Lawson up 19 spots in 15th place right now. Looks to be your biggest mover of the race. Closely followed by Alan Ayers and Doug Wasaki up 16 spots. Paul Turner up 15 spots. Corey Sherman, Andrew Caldwell up 12 spots each, and Crank Bell up 11 spots in 11th.
So you talked about some of these guys, Doug Wasaki, Paul Turner, those are the big movers. And those are guys that, we talk about are typically there. Kyle has cut this lead down to 0.3, by the way. We were showing that. So those are guys that typically we talk about late in the race that, they don't start up front. They find themselves there in the top 10 at the end of the race. They're not as high as they normally are, and I think that's because we've gone green this whole race, and their strategy, or whether it's by choice or not, of starting in the back of the pack has hurt them tonight.
Yeah, and we mentioned this as a tough track. The qualifying here is important, but it's really easy to just give it a light tap to the wall there on either of your qualifying laps, and then neither of them are good. I'm wondering if that happened to a couple trucks, and that's why they started so far back, and then once you're mired back in the soup, you just can't get back out of it.
Yeah, that's I think what we're seeing with some of those guys, because those are guys we're usually talking about in the top 10 at the end of the race. They're good on saving their equipment, just working their way up methodically, and those yellows tend to help those guys because it bunches that field back up.
Yeah, just outside of the top 10, Alan Ayers, Chris Dorsey, Crank Bell, all half a second between each other. Like Alan made a pass and Chris both made a pass on Crank, who was in 11th place, is falling back down to 13th on those older tires. But I'm not sure. Alan Ayers pit lap 48. Is he going to be able to make it on fuel from there, do you think?
Ooh, he's going to have to save heavy. We will see.
The car in front of me, Chris Harefield, the last car in the top 10, he pit on lap 47, as did Crank Bell. That's going to be a long way to make fuel. But maybe that's what Crank's doing right now, letting these trucks by, just kind of
Oh,
coasting down the straightaway a little bit.
was that Carter? Somebody was in the wall pretty well. I don't know if it was Carter or the Corey Sherman, but one of the two of them hit the wall pretty good.
Yeah. Back to the battle up front. Coleridge and Kyle both ran identical lap times last lap. They're now coming out of turn 4 here. They're going to be crossing the line. We're going to have 6 to go as they cross the line. This race has started to fly by here in this last half.
Yeah, it's nice when they go green. So Mike has fallen back to about a second behind Kyle. He's still got a almost 6-second lead or 7-second lead to the truck behind him. So he's still solidly in third, but Mike just has not been able to find that speed this last stint.
Yeah, I think that lap early on the tires didn't help anything either. Kyle and Coleridge have that 1 lap extra tires. He sounded like he listened to us. Yep, Crank is in pit road. Coleridge, don't look now. Kyle had a really good run out of turn 2 there. Coleridge trying to break the draft down the back straightaway. This gap is now down to 0.3 of a second, about 3 truck lengths. Kyle has a run in the short chute coming off of 4. Looks like he's getting down to the bottom and rolling that center better. He's going to have a run off of turn 4 as well. It's going to be 4 truck lengths Coleridge's lead coming off of turn 4 and down the start-finish straight.
He's gaining on him here. It'll be interesting with 5 laps to go. When do you make your move? Do you can't wait too. Oh, Kyle gets loose, gets down a little bit low to get that truck to rotate. It over rotates. He gets loose. He's fine. He's doing it again on the next corner. We are in the cockpit hit with him. You can see him trying to use that concrete down at the bottom to rotate the truck, but I feel like it's over rotating him a little bit.
I don't think so. It seems like it's working. The gap is now down to 1 truck length. He breaks early trying to get a good run on the exit of 3. The gap was down to 1 truck length on 3. Coleridge is not able to get down to that concrete quite like Kyle is able to, but it looks like he rolls turn 4 a little bit better. I'm going to say that Coleridge is better on the north end of the racetrack. Excuse me, the south end of the racetrack. Kyle's better on the north end of the racetrack here. He's better in 1 and 2 for sure. Let's see what happens here. He's now 2 truck lengths back going into turn 1. Kyle gets down, doesn't quite get as low as he did the last time, but is able to roll that center better, carries the momentum through the short chute. What does he do here in turn 2? Can he generate a big enough run to get alongside him down the back straightaway?
We are 4 to go. You see some lap traffic ahead. You really don't have any pressure behind. Mike's now over 2.5 seconds back. When do you make your move?
You've got to make it as soon as you can get there. You've got to make the run. It's got to be a good move. You can't throw anything in place that you don't know can't stick. Like, you're not going to make a Hail Mary or anything. We have some really good battles back in there as well.
Kyle making a move, goes to the inside.
Yeah, making a move alongside him. Coleridge is going to have the momentum down the front straightaway here. There's a caution. Caution's
out. Oh, no.
Oh, we had a great battle for the lead brewing there. I'm not sure what happened, Jerry.
Let's see, go to the replay here. It looks like Alan Ayers, looks like he may have just gotten a little bit loose, but he was outside another truck. The other truck Corey gets into him, and just not calamity, but enough to cause. Alan gets into the wall. The back of his truck comes off. That's what it was. It was this kind of the secondary into the wall damage.
Back this up again. Let's take another look at it. I know you walked through it there. I missed the first part of it there, Jerry.
We'll just do a little reversal here.
A little reverse. See if we can go to a far chase or something. Get a little better view of this. What corner are we in? Are we coming out of turn 1 into turn 2 here? That's what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like Alan just not able to get to the bottom there. Corey sees the door opening.
Corey goes there.
Goes in there. I just don't think Alan thought that Corey was going to be going for that move. I mean, but if I'm in Corey's shoes, you got to make it 2. You're coming to 3 to go. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just a racing deal, but Alan's not really coming down too much. He's trying to take his normal line going through the corner. Corey may have been on a little bit fresher tires coming through, a little bit quicker at the time coming through. We talked about Alan having pit earlier, maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel. Looks like your leaders are coming down pit road, though, now.
Well, not everybody, though. This is going to be interesting. So the leaders we've talked about are pitting, but we've got guys staying out.
Yeah, it looks like Eric Anderson stayed out. He's going to take the lead from your lead lap cars here. Looks like we got a few wave around cars as well in front of him. Now, do you take two? If you're in the pits, do you take two tires?
Oh, for a two, you know, I can't answer that without seeing how my tires were, how my lefts were when I pit earlier.
I mean, I think if you're Coleridge and Kyle, you can't take two. It doesn't look like they did. Mike Stiverson, even I don't know if you can take two. But if I was William Kern, I might have taken a shot at it. Andrew Caldwell?
How about Brian Dorsey, you know, who didn't pit that long ago, or Crank Bell? No, I was trying to think if there was somebody. Yeah, didn't Crank just pit a little while ago? Yeah,
he did. Not he's that long ago,
he's a
I
wave
believe
around.
he was a wave around car. He didn't quite make it out in time to get there. I believe that's where Brian Dorsey got stuck as well, just trapped that lap down, unable to make it.
So we've got two trucks. Let's see if they pull in this time that did not pit. Eric Anderson and Paul Turner. We've got the next 5 trucks or so all took 4 tires. Chris Harefield, currently in 8th, is the first one that took 2 tires. Carter Lawson took 2 tires. Most everybody is taking 4.
Yeah, like you said, Chris and Carter are the only 2 that took 2 tires. Everybody else took 4 tires, with the exception of Eric Anderson, Paul Turner. Don't know if they're going to come down pit road. Maybe they were just trying to lead a lap, get that bonus point.
Sometimes you stay out and hope, 10 other trucks stay out with you. Then you don't mind being up front on old tires. But when nobody else stays out, they stayed out.
They're staying out. This is going to be calamity. The only good thing for Eric is that he has an entire row. There's not going to be fresh tires starting directly outside of him.
True.
Paul is on identical tires to him as well. But now the question is, if you're Eric, do you take the inside or the outside? Do you take the outside and force them to go long way around, or the short way and pass Paul on the front straightaway and everything else? Or
so I don't know, because part of me says take the inside, but if you're on old tires, staying on that inside is really going to be tough. On the other hand, if you go to the outside, you're going to end up in the wall. So I think I take the inside.
It looks like that's what he's going to take, is the inside. This is going to be our one and only green-white checker. So we had a really good battle brewing for the lead there. I think Kyle was going to be able to pass Coleridge, but I don't know about it on fresh tires now. And we saw who was quickest on the fresh tires is going to be Mike. This may have fallen right in his hands.
Well, he's a little far back. These front trucks are going to have to make sure they don't spin their tires. They're on old tires. And then they've got to stay single file, no passing till after the start-finish line. And then turn 1, I have a feeling, is just going to be savage.
It's going to be whatever places you can get. You're going to have to be aggressive here. Aggressive enough without bringing out a caution. The last thing you want to do is cause a caution, have to claim it, get sent to the back. But I mean, I think Mike may do something from that third row there.
If he can get down to the bottom and make it stick, I think he's going to have a real opportunity. But Coleridge is going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to see 3 or 4 wide into 1, but you'll definitely see it out of 2. All right. We're going to be going on green. Looks like the pace truck is going to make that hard left turn. We come down the front straightaway here. Waiting on Barney the flagman to throw that green flag. Don't spin the tires. Green flag is in the air. Cannot pass until after the start-finish line.
But you can push.
Wreck. The big wreck. Big wreck there. Man.
Wow. Massive wreck.
And the entire field is caught up into that. Everybody is blocked into turn 1.
Oh, there is some bad words being said.
Oh, I'm sure there is. The only 2 trucks that made it through unscathed are going to be Coleridge and Mike. But looking at it in live, I'm not so sure that incident didn't happen off the front bumper of Coleridge.
That was some really heavy duty pushing there. Let's go see if we can take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Let's see if we can back it up and take a look.
Let me switch
have to go back a little bit further, and yeah. As you can see, just the carnage on the front straightaway there. Nobody's really able to get through the track being blocked the entire time from there. So it looks like Coleridge is on his bumper, going for a good push here. Knows he needs a good restart. The green flag is in the air, and the 43 on those old tires just can't get going. And I think just spins it. Coleridge is giving him a good push, and I don't know that it was Coleridge's fault. I think old tires had something to do with it, but it was definitely one of the primary factors in the incident.
Yeah, it looks like one of the worst guys who got the worst of it was Kyle. Kyle was there on that outside, really had nowhere to go.
Yeah, concrete wall on one side, trucks on the other, and just gets a nose full of trucks and then gets spun across the track in front of it, no matter what he does trying to save it. Mike is lucky to have skated through that with no issue whatsoever. And then the track just gets blocked behind everybody. Corey Sherman able to make it through a little bit there at first, and then it looks like everybody comes down. That track is just so narrow. Yeah, he gets clipped by Kyle again there, and the track is just blocked 6 trucks sideways going through there.
All right, let's go down our rundown here. We're on your yellow.
Yeah, tentative running order, as this should be the final order.
I was gonna say, is this the final order? Yes, it is. That's the race. We only had one green-white checker. That was it. Overtime. So let's see. Why don't you bring our top 3 up? We got Coleridge, Mike Stiverson, Carter Lawson up 31 spots to 3rd place.
Yeah, I'll see if I can round them up, Jerry. If you want to go down the rest of the order, I'll get everybody rounded up in the room here.
I will do that. We've got, let me see if I can bring our grid up. Our results. And yeah, of course not. We'll just go down them manually here. Coleridge got 1st place, Mike Stiverson 2nd, Carter Lawson, followed by Corey Sherman, Chris Dorsey, Leroy Coblentz, Cody Meadows, Kyle Nadeau, Nathan Dufton, Andy Cork make out your top 10. Doug Wasaki, Craig Schroeder, Andrew Caldwell, Philip Van Lee, Eric Anderson, Judd Danielson, William Kern in 17th, Paul Turner 18th, Chris Harefield, Stephen Music in 20th, Gary Bowman, Kevin Fetty, Crank Bell, Brian Dorsey, John Ross, Mike Donahue in 26th make out your lead lap players, followed by Neil Hale, Alan Ayers, Leroy Coblentz, George Cushman, Kendon Cook, Dave Gainforth, Chris Letts, Mike Ellis, and Mark Morton.
Well, I happen to catch up with our 3rd place finisher, Carter. You didn't even spin. What's going on?
I have no. I did spin there at the very end. I don't know what happened there. I missed qualifying. I had technical issues. But I'm going to take 34th to 3rd any day of the week.
Where were you when that started? When the green
I want to
flag
say
dropped?
I was 10th. I was 10th and just got shoved all the way through it.
Were you on the inside or outside? Do you recall?
Outside.
So you're saying
you
basically your strategy worked as planned.
Yes.
Of course.
Well, it's a pleasure to be able to come and talk to you. So you missed qualifying. What was your plan then going through the race, knowing that you were starting at the back?
Well, I thought there was going to be more than just, yellows at the end, so I was kind of hoping I could get 5 or so spots. Practice, I was a top 15 truck, and about halfway through the race, I was telling the guys, if I can get a 20th place, I'm going to count it as a win. But, third feels like a win starting, all the way back there.
I mean, that may be the most spots I've ever seen. You almost made the last to first challenge happen. I mean, that's very impressive for someone who says they can't drive a truck in a straight line. You did a pretty darn good job of it today for sure.
I'm going to hold that statement. I don't know if you've seen the front of the truck or the right side of the truck or anything like that.
I'm staring at the front of the truck right now, but we can look past it because, I mean, let's be honest, you're driving a Toyota. It already looks pretty bad from the front, so.
Yeah, I know. I did the thing I tend to always do is when I hit the car and broke it, it made it better. So,
hey, the world works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not going to argue with the 3rd place after all that.
Right, 3rd place in a pending review on that run, maybe even moved up another spot after that. But I'm going to turn the floor over to you, let you give your thank yous and everything else you want to do to the groups out here tonight, people listening.
Well, first off, I want to thank my wife and thank her for letting me do this. Thank Kyle Nadeau. He was our fuel strategy guy for the night. Um, feel bad for Mike and Kyle. They all seem to be running up there, and that caution at the end really hurt them. But our team's sponsored by a new sponsor, the Mike and Meadows Wrestling Academy. They've come on board and helped us out a whole lot.
I've heard good things about the Meadows Racing Academy.
Racing? Wrestling. There's no racing academy. They don't race, they wrestle.
Wrestling Academy. I said it wrong. I apologize.
Hey, it happens, man.
Hey, if I could only talk as well as you could drive a race car, we'd be doing good things here tonight. But hey, third place finisher Carter Lawson, good to see you in there.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Caught up with our second place finisher, Mike Stiverson. Mike, how you doing tonight?
I'm not feeling too good, except for hang on, I got guys talking in my ear. Except for, Coleridge just claimed that last wreck. So,
Ooh.
So if Coleridge made a claim on that last wreck, does that mean we are talking to our winner, Mike Stiverson?
two-time winner.
Two-time winner, Mike Stiverson. How about that?
How about that? Which, I mean, really, Coleridge and Kyle had the faster cars. But I'm sorry, guys, I got too many people talking in my ear. Let me get out of my truck here so I can make that stop. Okay, yeah, they had the faster trucks. Later in the run, especially Coleridge was catching me. I knew he was better long run. We were in the same chat, so I knew he was better on tires. I just couldn't keep my tires under me. I kept burning that front right. I was trying to back up my corners, and then I'd try to run away from him, and again, he'd catch it. But hey, I'll take it. I'll take the win.
So what were you thinking when the caution came out at that point? I mean, you were solidly probably what I'll call in third. The caution comes out. Were you like, oh no, I'm
Oh, yeah.
or were you just happy and felt like you had a better chance to move forward?
No, not at all. In Xfinity race here, I had dominated the race, kind of like this. And we had a caution late, and somebody took two tires, and I started on the outside of them, and they slid up in turn one and took me out. So I knew what could happen if somebody didn't take tires or only took two. I just knew the restart could be a mess. Obviously, it was. So no, I was good with that third place. I was 5 seconds over William Kern at that point. Did not want to see that caution come out. I was ready for it to be done and go take some NyQuil and go to bed.
Well, I know
You may not have wanted to see it at the time, but I'm sure you're happy that you saw it now. You went from third to first.
I mean, I'll take that. Yeah, for sure. But
absolutely.
I'd rather it ran out green, and Coleridge and Kyle were about to have a really good battle. I think they had just got side by side there when that caution came out, so that was going to be fun to watch. I almost would have rather watched that than take this win the way I did. So, but hey, I'm going to take it. I'm glad to have it.
Well, glad you got it. Listen, I know you're not feeling well. You're under the weather, so we'll wrap this up for you, let you hit the NyQuil bed, but give you an opportunity to say hello to anybody you like.
Yeah, well, I got to do it twice now, so I love you, Elizabeth. I love you, Elizabeth. I forgot to do it last time when I won at Michigan and I got yelled at, so there's 2 times. Meadows Wrestling Academy, all the guys at WTF, Carter, Cody, Kyle, and then Coleridge this evening. I appreciate all their help, and you guys for doing the broadcast. I appreciate it very much.
Glad to do it. Hope we're talking to you in the future weeks to come.
Sounds good to me.
Cody, this actually was a pretty good race. You heard at the beginning, I was kind of like, a lot of single file, but it was a lot of single file. But we had strategy plays, we had tire saving, we had action at the end. I don't know what more we really could have asked for.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. It was a really good. I think we got a little bit robbed of a good battle there, coming to the last couple laps there from the leaders, but. It ended up working out in the end. Do want to give a shout out Corey Sherman with that claim from Coleridge on that last lap incident. Did take up third place. I'm unable to find him though to give him an interview, but just wanted to give him a little shout out there. Corey Sherman brought home third.
That's awesome for him. He's up 22 spots to claim that third place. So big night for him. I've got the standings finally to work. They're up on your screen. I went through them already, so we won't go through them again. But Coleridge is showing us first. He had to claim that last caution. That'll move him down the totem pole to the end of the lap he was in. So Mike
26th
Stuyvesant
place,
is
I
your winner.
believe, is where he ended up finishing.
Good race tonight. It was a lot of fun. Went by pretty quick.
Yeah, hopefully all the races go that. I like those long green flag runs. It can sometimes get boring up here in the booth, but I like seeing those little battles throughout the track, seeing that tire strategy and everything pan out. I really like it.
Me too. I hope they listen to the drivers and add an extra set of tires again next week. Next week, don't forget, tomorrow night we've got Rising Stars on the Cyber Thunder Broadcast Network. We got the Cup Cars on Thursday. We will be back with the trucks next Tuesday. Cody Richardson, Jerry Isaacs. Have a great week. See ya.
See you at the last Great Coliseum next week.